Hello folks, this is Tom Martin. This is my lottery strategy game, Decoding the Powerball guessing game. I'm picking my numbers for the drawing on September 25th, 2019. If you'd like to get my game Decoding the Powerball, then please email me at decodingpowerball@gmail.com. Thank you, and please subscribe. Okay, so the object of my game is for you to correctly eliminate groups of numbers. There are 69 white ball numbers in the Powerball lottery. Only 5 numbers can come up as winners, so that means 64 numbers can't come up at all. So for me, I think it should be easier to pick the numbers that won't be coming up than the 5 that actually do. So to help me do that, I'm going to turn to the 5 strategies on my game. So strategies 1 and 2, the game card color code, and the 50-50 picks. Okay, so if you've never seen my videos before, why I make them is to show you on how to use my game. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the game card. This is a format that I came up with that represents the 69 white ball numbers in the Powerball lottery. I really don't have anything for the Powerball itself. My goal is to get all 5 white balls correct and win the $2 million prize with the Power Play option. Okay, so first things first is I'm going to go to the Powerball homepage. And the 5 white winning numbers that just came up were the 1, 9, 22, 36, and 68. Again, I really don't care about the red ball. Okay, so what I do is I take those 5 white winning numbers and I put it at the top of this list. And now I'm going to find out what colors they were. Okay, so the 1 was blue, the 9 was orange, the 22 was green, the 36 was red, and the 68 was blue. Okay, so I'm going to color these in. So again, the 1 and the 68 were blue. The 9 was orange. The 22 was green. And the 36 was red. Okay, so now I'm going to count how many colors I have. So I have 2 blue, 1 red, 1 green, 1 orange for 4 colors total. Okay, so up here I'm going to make this 369 color code drawings I kept track of so far. And now a 4 color combination has now come up 132 times. Okay, so what I want you to focus on here is the 3 color combination. This has come up 193 times out of 369 drawings. Okay, so if you do some quick math, you're going to see that a 3 color combination comes up more than half the time. Okay, and to me that's huge because long term, if I just keep on picking a 3 color combination, I know statistically I'm going to be correct more than half the time. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make a new game card. So I'm going to get rid of all these colors and start from scratch. Okay, so my color code is right here. Here's the red numbers, the orange, the green, the blue, and whatever's left is purple. So what I did is I took the 69 white ball numbers, I divided it by 5 colors, and that's 1 color for each of the 5 white winning Powerball numbers, okay? So that equals 13.8. So my goal is to get as close to as 13 or 14 numbers per color as possible, or a good representation of each color, okay? So again, I'm going to start in with the red numbers. Now the red numbers are the last 3 drawings of numbers. And the reason why that is because this will give me a maximum of 15 numbers, okay? So again, I'm going to start in with the 1, the 9, the 22, 36, and 68. The next line down is the 14, the 19, 39, 47, 51. The next line down is the 11, the 27, the 31, 36 is already taken, and the 37. The 67. Okay, so again, I'm going to make these red numbers. And now I'm going to count how many I have. So over here, I got 6 and 3 are 9, and 5 are 14. So up here, I'm going to put 14. Okay, so up here it tells me how many of each color I have on the game card. Okay, so moving on to the orange area, I'm going to start in with the 6. The 17, 31 is already taken, 36 is taken. Whoops, I'm sorry, 6, 17, 24. Sorry about that. 53, 57. Okay, so the next line down is 11, which is taken, the 20, 41, 42, 56. The next line down is the 4, the 8, 30, 52, and 59. And the last line is the 14, which is taken. The 41 is taken. The 50, 56 is taken, and 57 are taken. So again, I'm going to make these orange numbers here. Okay, so now I'm going to count how many I have. So over here I got 4, 4 is 8, and 3 is 11, 1 is 12, and 3 is 15. So up here I'm going to make this 15. Okay, so I think you understand how I came up with the colors for my game card here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, just to speed things up, I'm going to scroll to the right. And here's the game card for September 25th, 2019. So again, you can see that there was 14 red numbers, 15 orange, turned out to be 14 green numbers, 13 blue, and 13 purple numbers. Okay? So again, more than half the time, a 3-color combination comes up. Okay? So that means more than half the time, 2 colors are not coming up, and that's what I want to focus on here. So again, the object of the game is to eliminate groups of numbers. Okay? So the strategy is, try to correctly guess what color group will not be coming up and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so I want to point out that all 5 colors do come up. It's come up 13 times out of 368 drawings here. Okay, I guess I got that wrong on the last one. It said 369 over here. Okay, it's actually 368. So again, only 13 times have all 5 colors come up out of 368 drawings. Okay, so all 5 colors do come up, but it's very rare. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make a prediction on what color group will not be coming up. Okay, and to help me make a decision, I'm going to turn to the next strategy called the 50-50 picks. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the 50-50 picks. So again, there's 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so there has to be a majority of either odd numbers or even numbers, or numbers to the high side or numbers to the low side. So I like to keep track of that and try to correctly guess what the majority will be for the upcoming drawing. Okay, so I like to use these 50-50 picks as kind of like a roadmap to what I think will be the 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to update this here. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the game card, and the last drawing there was 1 odd, 2 odds, 1 even, 2 evens, 3 evens. So 3 evens, 2 odds, and as I go back to the 50-50 picks here, the first thing I'm going to do is make this 414. Okay, so I kept track of 414 drawings so far. Basically, this goes back to October 7th, 2015. That's when the Powerball lottery went from 59 numbers to 69 numbers. Okay, so again, there was 2 odd numbers and 3 even, so the majority was even, so I'm going to make this 197. Okay, so out of 414 drawings, 217 drawings have been the majority of odd numbers, and 197 drawings have been the majority of even numbers. Okay, so what I do here is, again, I break things down into 5, so it will show me the majority. So out of this 5 drawings here, you can see the majority was even numbers, 3 drawings to 2. Okay, so here what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this black, and I'm going to highlight this one right here in blue. Okay, so most of the time, out of these 5 drawings here, it turns out to be 3 drawings to 2 a lot of the times. Okay, so as I'm looking at this, I already see 3 drawings to the odds. Okay, but it has been a while since it's been 4-1 here, so I'm going to predict that it's going to be 4-1 here. So I'm going to predict that there's going to be more odd numbers than even numbers. Okay, so I'm just going to write that down just to remind me what I picked. So here I'm going to put down, I think there's going to be more odd numbers than even numbers. Okay, so going back to the 50-50 picks, the next one is high and low. So all the numbers that are considered high are in red. All the ones in blue are considered low. Okay. So looking at this, I'm going to predict that this is going to be 3-2 right here. Okay, so I think that there's going to be more numbers to the high side than the low side. Okay, so when I go to eliminate numbers, I'm going to be looking at this blue area to get rid of numbers first. Okay, so moving on to the next one. Actually, let me write that down. Again, I think more numbers are going to be to the high side than the low side. Okay, so moving on to left and right here. As I look at this has been 3-2, 3-2. This one will definitely be 3-2. It's just, what is it going to be? Is it going to be more to the left or more to the right side? And my guess is that it's going to be more to the left side. Okay, so I'm going to write that down as well. I think more numbers will pop up over here to the left side. So I'm going to look to eliminate numbers over here to the right side. Okay, and last one is this red and blue area here. Okay, and looking at this is also going to be 3-2. And since I see a bunch of single red, single red, single red, I'm going to predict that this is going to be red right here. Okay, so I'm predicting more numbers here in this red area than the blue. So I'm going to write that down as well. More to the red. Okay. So moving on to the next strategy here. Okay. Actually, I want to eliminate this group of colored numbers here. And my prediction is that no red numbers are going to come up. Okay. So the reason why, and the whole thing about this is that we're all going to look at this differently, okay? So we're all going to come up with a different result here, okay? But I see a bunch of red right here, okay? And now there's a single red here, and I just think that no red is going to come up like it did right here, okay? So that's my prediction. So I'm going to block out these red numbers. And hopefully, none of these red numbers come up. Okay, so again, I'm going to block out these numbers. Okay, so when I block out numbers like this means that I'm not even going to consider these numbers when I'm picking what I think will be the 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm spending $3 on a Powerball ticket, which includes the power play. Okay, so in other words, I'm betting $3 that none of these red numbers will come up in the next drawing. Okay, so if I'm correct with my bet and none of these red numbers come up, then I'm one step closer to that $2 million prize. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy. And that's strategy number 3, the individual numbers. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the individual numbers. Okay, so basically what I did is I broke up the 69 numbers into 7 different groups. Okay, so here's group number 1. It holds the numbers of 1 through 9. Of course, this is the only group with 9 numbers, where the other 6 have 10 for 69 numbers. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to update this here. So again, the winning numbers were the 1, 9, 22, 36, and 68. So I'm going to follow this plane to the 1, and now I'm going to make this square blue. And I'm going to make it blue because the 1 is blue. Okay, so over here, I'm going to make the 9 orange. Okay, so the 9 is orange because the color code said it was orange. Okay, so out of the 7 groups, this last one hit 4 out of the 7. Okay, so that means 3 of these groups didn't have a winning Powerball number to it. Okay, so let me reduce this down so you can see the whole card. So again, there's 7 different groups here, and there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so I know that 2 of these groups cannot have a winning Powerball number to it. So the strategy is try to correctly guess what group will not have the winning Powerball number to it, and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so how you read this is this big square right here. This is good for 5 drawings. Okay, so I like to break things down into 5 so it shows me the majority of things, but here it's a little bit different. Okay, so the reason why I break it down into 5 is for a couple reasons. One is when I go back into the history of things, it's easier to count going 5, 10, 15, 20, and so on. Okay, but my theory is that if there's a lot of hits within this 5 drawings, then maybe there won't be so many hits in the next 5 drawings. Okay, so that's what I look for here. So my prediction is that no numbers of 1 through 9 are going to come up. Okay, so if you go back into the history, you can see that things have been pretty hot down through here with this 1 through 9. Okay, and it already hit 4 drawings. I mean, it already hit 3 times within this last 3 drawings. And, you know, as you look at things, you're going to see a lot of 3s popping up. Okay, so I just think that this has hit its, you know, it's full, I guess. And I don't believe that any more numbers are going to be in this 1 through 9. So I'm going to get rid of these numbers off of my game card. Okay, so one last thing that I'm going to point out is over here you can see a bunch of 4s. Okay, so it's been a while since a 5 has come up. You can see that it's been 15 drawings. Okay, so I'm going to predict that a 5 is going to come up. So I'm thinking that there's going to be a winning Powerball in 5 out of these 7 groupings. Okay, so again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to blow this back up and go back to the game card and eliminate those numbers off of the game card. Okay, so here's the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now the 8 is over here, and the 9 is already gone, so I'm going to get rid of those numbers, the 1 through 9 numbers, and hopefully none of those come up. Okay, so moving on to the next strategy. Strategy number 4, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 1. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 1 numbers. Okay, so basically what I did is I divided the numbers into 4 different groups, and I put colors to these groups. Okay, so when the 5 white winning Powerball numbers land within these groups, I record where they land down here in the stats. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. I'm going to update this. So the first number that came up was the 1, that's in the red area. Then the 9 was in the red. Then the 22 was in the blue. The 36 was in the orange, and the 68 was in the orange. Okay, so had 2 numbers in the red area, the 1 and the 9, 1 in the blue, the 22, and 2 in the orange, the 36 and 68. So that means there is no winning Powerball numbers in the green area. Okay, so the strategy is try to correctly guess where these zeros are going to pop up. If I could have correctly guessed that none of these green numbers were going to come up in the last drawing, I could have eliminated all these green numbers and gave myself a much better chance at winning some kind of prize in the Powerball lottery. Okay, so if there's a 0 that comes up, I color the background blue for cold. Okay, and if there's a hit, I color the background red for hot, just to give me some separation. Okay, so here, I'm going to make this 103, and this tells me how many zeros are in this column here. Okay, so up here, this is 8 in a row now. So in this orange area, 8 drawings in a row, there's been a number here. Okay, so I have 15 of these option cards. Okay, so they all have the same colors as red, blue, orange, and green. It's just that the numbers that they represent are a little bit different from each other from each different option card. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a prediction on where I think a 0 is going to be, and I'm going to go with this option card number 7, no green numbers. Okay, so the reason why I'm picking this one is because this has hit 40 drawings in a row where one of these green numbers have come up. Okay, so that's a record for all 15 of these option cards. The last record was 33. Okay, so these green numbers actually represent 20 numbers out of the 69 numbers. Okay, But there's still 49 other numbers that could come up, and I only need 5 to come up. So I don't think that this is going to go on forever here, okay? I'm expecting the 0 to come up on any drawing here. So I'm going to get rid of these green numbers, all right? So it's the 4 corners right here, the middle, this pattern here, and this pattern over here, okay? So as I go back to the game card, you're going to see that there's 5 numbers over here to the left. And as I go back to group 1, you're going to see that there's no numbers over here, okay? So what I really wanted was this grid of 8 squares across and 8 squares down, okay? But that's only good for 64 numbers, and there's 69 in a lottery, okay? So I had to pair a couple of these squares up, like the 8 shares the square with the 66, the 19 with the 67, the 25 and the 65, the 53 and the 69, and the 58 and the 68, okay? So when I go back to the game card here, I'm going to be getting rid of the 53 and 58, along with all these other numbers. Okay, so hopefully none of those numbers come up, okay? We'll see what happens. So I'm going to go back to group 1, and I'm going to make another prediction. And my next prediction is option card number 13, no orange numbers, okay? Now the reason why I'm picking this one is you can see that these zeros, sometimes they double up or even triple up like here, okay? Over here in this orange area, there's been 21 of these single zeros here, okay? So I'm hoping that it's due to double up like right here. Okay, so I'm hoping that the 0 is going to be right here, and I'm going to get rid of all these orange numbers, okay? The other reason why I'm picking it is because I think there's going to be more numbers to the left side than the right side, okay? So again, I'm going to get rid of all these orange numbers off of my game card, the 5, 7, 14, 16, that pattern all the way down. So I'll get rid of the 16, the 21, 23, the 30, the 37, the 46, the 55. No, I kind of screwed that up here. Let me go back to 16, 21, 23, 30, 37, 46, 55, 62, and 64. So hopefully none of those numbers come up, okay? So I'm all done picking from group 1 here, okay? So again, I have 15 of these option cards, okay? But they're really hard to pick because there's so many variables, like all 4 colors that are here could be represented, okay? When that happens, I call that a row, okay? So again, there's all kinds of variables, so I only like to stick to picking that 1 or 2 of these, okay? Even though on average there's 10 or more zeros among all 15 of these option cards. Okay, so I'm moving on to the next strategy. And that's strategy number 5, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 2. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 2 numbers. Okay, so much like group 1, where I divided things into 4 different color groups, here I divided things into 8 different color groups, okay? So it's just another way of looking at groups of numbers, all right? Except with this one, I know that there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers, and there's 8 color groups here. So I know that 3 of these color groups cannot have a winning Powerball number to it, okay? So the strategy is, try to correctly guess what color group will not have the winning Powerball number to it, and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card, okay? So I'm going to update this one as well. So I have 15 of these option cards as well. This is option card number 1. And they all have the same colors as red, blue, orange, green, purple, brown, gray, yellow. Okay. Just the numbers that they represent are a little bit different from each other from each different option card. Okay. So again, I'm going to update this as well. So the winning numbers were the 1, 9. Okay. So 2 red numbers. And then the 22 was brown. The 36 was green, and the 68 was blue. So I had 2 red numbers, 1 blue, 1 green, 1 brown. Okay, so down here is current. So here I had 2 in the red area, 1 in the blue, no winning Powerball numbers in the orange area, 1 in the green, no winning Powerball numbers in the purple. There's 1 in the brown at 22. No winning Powerball numbers in the gray area. And no winning Powerball numbers in the yellow area. Okay, so how many groups did it hit? It hit 1, 2, 3, and 4. And since the majority of the numbers were over here to the left side, I'm going to color this 4 red. Okay, so that tells me where the majority is. Okay, so if I'm looking at this 5 for whatever reason, I know it's green, so I know that the majority of the numbers were over here to the right side. Okay, so the reason why I do that is I like to look at to see if there's, if there's a lot of green, like right here. Well, eventually I know it's going to turn red. I just have to correctly guess when that's going to happen. So if I think the majority of the numbers will be over here to the left side, I'll be looking over here to the right side to pick that 0. Okay, so again, I like to break things down into every 5. Okay, so you can see that out of this 5, 3 are, out of this 4 anyways, 3 are hits. Okay, so when that happens, I color the background red for hot. And if the majority is misses, I color the background blue for cold. Okay, so I'll do that here as well. Now these other ones, I'm going to make yellow just for this drawing here. Because I want it to stick out because, now is where I take my guess on whether it's going to be blue or whether it's going to be red. Okay, so I'm looking for the ones that I think are going to be blue. All right, so what I do this for is for this reason right here. Okay, so when I see a bunch of red like this, where it's been really, really hot, well, I know it's going to turn blue eventually. I just have to correctly guess when that's going to happen. Okay, so for this first one here, I'm going to go with no yellow. Okay, you can see how hot this has been over here. And I just think that the 0 is going to be here, or at least 1 out of the 3 of them. Okay, so I'm going to eliminate the yellow numbers off of my game card. So the yellow numbers go from the 66 down to the 64. So I'm going to go to the game card, and I'm going to eliminate whatever's left. And that's the 24 and 40. So hopefully those numbers do not come up. Okay. Now moving on to the next one here, option card number 2. I'm going to go with yellow as well. So as I scroll down here, you can see how hot things have been. And now I think the 0 is going to be right here. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of these yellow numbers. And that runs from the 57 to the 64. So I'll get rid of the 57, 60, 61, and 63. So hopefully those numbers do not come up. Moving on to option card number 3. Again, I'll have 15 of these, and then we're done. Okay. So here, I am going to go with brown. Okay, so as I scroll down here, you're going to see things got pretty hot. And now I think the 0 is going to be right here. So I'm going to get rid of these brown, and that's the 5 and the 34. So I'll get rid of the 13, 42, and 50. Hopefully those numbers do not come up. Okay, so moving on to number 4. I'm going to go with no orange. So here's the orange area. So you can see how hot things have been. And now I think the 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to get rid of the orange, the 21 to the 24 and the 49 to the 52. So I'll get rid of those. Hopefully those numbers do not come up. So moving on to 5, I'm going to go with red. So here's the red. And I think the 0 is going to be right here. So I'm going to get rid of this ring of numbers right here. So I'll get rid of the 12, 20, 17, and 26. So hopefully those numbers do not come up. Moving on to 6. Again, I have 15 of these. This one I'm going to go with is orange. So you can see how hot things have been. Again, I think the 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to get rid of the 5, 14, 21, 30. That pattern all the way down. Okay, so here you can see that there's nothing to eliminate. Okay, so here's the thing with these option cards here. On average, I do the average for all 15 of them, and on average it goes from anywhere from like 3.8 to 4.2. Okay, so what I'm trying to say here is that on average for all 15 option cards, 4 of these groups are going to have a miss to it. 4 of these groups are going to have a hit to it. Okay, so right now it's kind of like a 50-50 guess. Okay, so I made my guess for orange. There was nothing to get rid of. Okay, so I'm not going to come back here and make another guess. Okay, because the odds of me, well, let's just say if I got this orange one correct, the odds of me getting another one correct go way, way up. Okay, so I designed this to move on to the next option card where I have that 50-50 guess again. Okay, so here with option card number 7, I'm going to go with green. I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. So I'm going to get rid of the 49, 68, 51, 60 all the way across. And there's nothing to get rid of. So moving on to number 8. I'm going to go with purple. So here's the purple. So I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. And that's the 1, 12, 17, 27 all the way down. So I'll get rid of the 33 and 44. Hopefully those numbers do not come up. So moving on to 9. I'm going to go with blue. So here's the blue area. You can see how hot things have been. I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. So it's a 227 pattern on the left side, 1621 pattern on the right side. And there's nothing to get rid of. So moving on to 10. Again, I have 15 of these option cards. This one I'm going to pick brown. So you can see things have been pretty hot here. So I'm going to go with the 0 right here. And that's the 1126 all the way around, that pattern. So that includes the 15 and the 43. Okay, so now I'm down to 6 numbers left. Okay, so I'm going to keep going here. Okay, so I couldn't make a decision here on option card 11. Let me scroll down through here. I just had a hard time making a decision, so I'm going to leave that alone. And here with number 12, I'm going to leave this one alone as well. And I'm going to pick from option card 13, no brown numbers. So I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. So it's the 29 and the 57. And there's nothing to get rid of, so moving on. To 14, I'm going to go with brown as well. So you can see, I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. So I'm going to get rid of the 21 and 52. There's nothing to get rid of, so the last one, my last chance to get rid of this number is option card 15, orange. So you can see how hot things have been, so I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. And the orange runs from the 1 down to the 64. And now we'll get rid of that 28. Okay, so the numbers that I'm going to go with are the 25, 38, 41, 54, 65. Okay, so let me just highlight these. Okay, so again, the numbers that I'm going to go with are the 25, 38, 41, 54, and 65. Okay, so again, I wanted more numbers to be odds, so the 25, 41, and 65 will make that happen. Okay, more numbers to the high side. You can see the 38, 41, 54. More numbers to the left side. The 25 shares the square with the 65, so I got 3 over here to the left side. And more to that red area, which the 25, 65, 38, and 54 will make that happen. Okay, so another thing in the individual numbers, I wanted this to be a 5. Okay, and you can see that these numbers, the 20s, that will be in the 20 area, the 30s, the 40s, 50s, and 60s. So that will hit 5 groups as well. So we'll see what happens. And again, the numbers I'm going to go with are the 25, 38, 41, 54, and 65. Okay, so I think Sherlock Holmes said it the best when he said it's a matter of deduction. Okay, so if these blocked out numbers don't come up, then these highlighted numbers have to come up. Okay, so it comes down to what are the odds that I made all the correct picks. Okay, so let me go over the official odds. So getting the grand prize, getting all 5 white balls correct and the red ball, the odds of doing that are 1 in 292 million. Okay, my goal is to get all 5 white balls correct, and what I mean by that is that the game is geared up for the white balls only. Okay, the odds of doing that are 1 in 11,688,000. Okay, so in other words, you can make nearly 12 million 5-number combinations out of 69 numbers. Okay, so I don't want to give any kind of illusions that this is going to be easy to win. Okay, so another nice prize to win would be getting 4 white balls and a red ball correct. That pays 50,000. Okay, the odds of doing that are just about 1 in a million. And then you can see the smaller prizes here. Okay, so I just want to go over a budget. You can see that the higher prizes, the odds are astronomical there. So I just want to let you know that if you spend $3 per drawing, there's 2 drawings per week, you would spend $312 per year on the lottery. Okay, so I do have something for the Powerball number itself. Okay, so how this works is in this column, there's 26 numbers. Okay, so I just divided these numbers in 2. Okay, so if you see a red number, that means it's high, 14 to 26. If you see a blue number, that means low, 1 to 13. Okay, so over here in this column, if you see a red number, that's odds. If you see a blue number, that's evens. Okay, so the reason why I do this is because if I see a long streak like this, a blue, well, I know it's going to turn red eventually, so I just have to correctly guess when that's going to happen. So here, you can see it's been a while since this red has had a run of 3 or more. So I'm going to say that this is going to be red again, okay? So I'm just going to be looking at the high numbers, the 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, and 26, okay? And over here, I just have a feeling it's going to go back to red. So now I'm just going to look at the high odd numbers, okay? So the 15, 17, 19, 21, 23, and 25, okay? So I'm not sure which one I'm going to go with, but it's going to be a high odd number, okay? So one last thing in closing, I want to thank you for watching. If you would like to support my channel, then please go to my Patreon page at www.patreon.com/Decoding the Powerball, okay? And as always, I want to wish you the best of luck with your picks.